She smirked. Wow, you actually believe in fairy tales like loyalty and honesty? That's cute. I said cute, but useful. When her employer read my evidence of her dishonesty, she realized I wasn't living in a fairy tale. She was living in a nightmare. I, 27 male, work as a software developer at a mid-sized tech company. Been there 3 years, decent pay, good team. Or at least it was a good team until Jade, 29, transferred to our department 8 months ago. Jade came in as a senior developer, same level as me. Harvard CS degree, previous experience at 2 big tech companies. On paper, impressive. In reality, she was good at taking credit and even better at avoiding actual work. First month, she was all charm. Brought donuts, asked about our projects, seemed eager to contribute. But red flags started popping up quick. During her second week, I helped her debug an API integration issue. Spent 2 hours walking her through our system. Next team meeting, she presented her solution to the exact problem I'd solved for her. When I raised an eyebrow, she smiled and said, "Great minds think alike, right?" Let it slide. New job, maybe she was nervous and forgot to credit me. Whatever. But it became a pattern. She'd ask teammates for quick help, then present their solutions as her own insights. Started small, bug fixes, optimization suggestions, then escalated to entire feature implementations. The breaking point came 4 months ago. Our team was tasked with building a new authentication system. I'd been working on a similar personal project and had solid architecture ready. Shared it in a team brainstorming session. Jade loved it. Asked tons of questions, wanted to see my code. I walked her through everything, thinking we'd collaborate. 2 days later, our manager Kyle announced Jade would be leading the authentication project. Her proposal? My exact architecture, down to the library choices. Not a single mention of where it came from. I pulled her aside after the meeting. "That was my design you just pitched." She laughed. Actually left. "Your design? These are standard patterns anyone would use. The specific Redis implementation for session management? The custom middleware sequence? That's all for my project." That's when she said it. That smirk. "Wow, you actually believe in fairy tales like loyalty and honesty? That's cute." "Cute, but useful," I replied. "Useful?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Let me explain how the real world works. Ideas don't belong to anyone. Execution matters, and I execute better than you. By taking other people's work, by being smart enough to recognize good ideas and confident enough to run with them. You think anyone cares who thought of what? They care about results, and I deliver results." She walked away, already typing on her phone. Probably updating her LinkedIn about leading an innovative authentication system design. That night, I made a decision. If she didn't believe in loyalty or honesty, fine, but I believed in documentation. Update 1. After that conversation, I started documenting everything. Every interaction, every borrowed idea, every instance of credit theft. Not obsessively, just consistently. Set up a simple system. Email myself after any significant help I gave her. Screenshot Slack conversations where she asked for assistance. Save my original code/designs before sharing anything. Note dates and times of team presentations. Didn't take long to build a pattern. Jade was systematically mining the entire team for ideas, but she was smart about it. Never took everything from a feature from me, an optimization from Connor, a design pattern from Lisa. Mixing and matching to seem innovative. The authentication project was her masterpiece of theft. She pulled components from 5 different team members, presented them as a cohesive vision, and got praised for her holistic thinking. Kyle, our manager, was eating it up. Jade knew exactly how to present to him. Confident, metrics-focused, always with a slide deck. She'd turned our collaborative team culture into her personal innovation farm. 2 weeks into my documentation, she escalated. Started scheduling sync meetings with team members, but would cancel last minute. Then she'd message frantically. "So sorry. Client emergency. Can you just send me your progress? I'll review async." People would send their work. Next team meeting, she'd present their progress as team achievements she'd been overseeing. Connor confronted her once. Her response? "I'm synthesizing everyone's efforts. That's what senior developers do. Maybe when you have more experience, you'll understand." The condescension was unreal. Connor had been coding since he was 12 and had more GitHub contributions than our entire team combined. But he was quiet, humble, easy target for Jade. That's when I noticed something interesting. Jade wasn't just stealing work. She was documenting her version of events, sending recap emails after every meeting, with creative interpretations, logging mentorship sessions where she took credit for teaching us our own solutions, creating a paper trail that painted her as the team's innovation leader. She was building a case for promotion. I checked our company's promotion cycle. 3 months away, senior to lead developer, only one slot available. Suddenly, her strategy made sense. She wasn't just lazy or entitled, she was calculating. Build a portfolio of achievements. Position herself as indispensable, get promoted before anyone realized what happened. Time to accelerate my documentation. Update 2, Jade made a crucial mistake. She got greedy. Our company landed a major client, a financial services firm needing a complete security audit tool. Big project, high visibility. Kyle assigned it to our team with Jade as lead. Surprise, surprise. She immediately scheduled individual brainstorming sessions with each team member. Mine was on a Tuesday. She came prepared with specific questions about encryption protocols, vulnerability scanning, automated testing. I answered generally, nothing specific. Come on, she pushed. I know you worked on something similar at your last job. Don't hold out on the team. I had worked on something similar. Had a whole framework design saved on my personal GitHub. But I'd learned. I'll put together some thoughts and share them at the team meeting, I said. Her smile tightened. Why wait? We're brainstorming now. I prefer to present complete ideas. That's not very collaborative. Neither is presenting other people's work as your own. The mask slipped for just a second. Pure annoyance flashed across her face before the smile returned. I don't know what you're implying, but I've always credited the team. The team. Never individuals. She left my desk without another word. That afternoon, she tried a different approach. Sent a Slack message to the team channel. Team, for the security audit project, please share any relevant experience or code samples. Let's pool our knowledge. Reply in thread with your contributions. Smart. Public request. Paper trail showing people voluntarily sharing. But the team had caught on. Responses were vague, non-committal. Connor shared a link to public documentation. Lisa mentioned a blog post. Nobody gave her anything substantial. Jade was frustrated. Started scheduling mandatory architecture sessions where she'd whiteboard problems and push for specific solutions. When someone suggested something good, she'd quickly photograph the whiteboard and claim it was collaborative design. But here's where she really messed up. She reached out to my previous teammate from my last job, Dimitri, told him she was my current colleague and was following up on the security framework I'd mentioned you both worked on. Asked for documentation, code samples, anything that might help our team. Dimitri called me immediately. Yo, who's Jade? She's asking for our old security project stuff. I explained the situation. Dimitri was pissed. She's trying to backdoor your work? That's messed up. Did you send her anything? Hell no. Told her any questions about past work should go through you. But Jade didn't stop there. She found the one public repo where I'd contributed to the security framework, forked it, and started modifying it slightly. Just enough to claim it was inspired by open source work rather than stolen directly from me. That's when I decided to give her exactly what she wanted. Update 3, I built a beautiful security audit framework. Elegant code, comprehensive documentation, innovative approaches to vulnerability detection. Spent a whole weekend on it, and I intentionally included a fatal flaw. Not something obvious. Jade was too smart for that, but a subtle logic error in the authentication flow that would only trigger under specific conditions. The kind of bug that would pass initial tests but fail spectacularly in production. Monday morning, I shared it in our team channel. Here's my contribution to the security audit project. Feel free to use any components that might help. Jade's response was immediate. This is excellent. I'll review and integrate the best parts into our architecture. By Wednesday, she'd presented her security framework to Kyle and the client. My design, my code structure, even my variable naming conventions. But she'd made it hers by adding fancy diagrams and executive summaries. The client loved it. Kyle was impressed. Jade scheduled a company-wide presentation to showcase our team's innovative approach. That's when I played my card. The night before her presentation, I sent Kyle an email. Professional, factual. Attached was my original framework design, time-stamped from my personal GitHub. Screenshots of Jade asking for my help. The forked repo where she'd copied my public code. Slack messages showing the pattern of her requesting work, then presenting it. Dimitri's email confirming she'd tried to get our previous project to Orphanson. But the kicker? I included the bug documentation, explained exactly where the flaw was, why it existed, and how it would cause a complete security failure if implemented. I'm concerned that in her enthusiasm to deliver quickly, Jade may have overlooked critical security flaws in the architecture she's presenting tomorrow. I wanted to ensure you were aware before the company-wide presentation. Kyle called me within an hour. Can you come to the office early tomorrow? We need to discuss this. Update 4. I arrived at 7 a.m. Kyle was already there with Raj from HR and Monica, our department VP. They'd spent the night reviewing my documentation. Walk us through this, Monica said. No pleasantries, all business. I laid it out chronologically. Every instance, every pattern, every piece of evidence. Showed them the authentication bug, explained how it would have exposed client data. Why didn't you raise this sooner? Raj asked. I tried addressing it directly with Jade. She made it clear she didn't value honesty or collaboration. I started documenting to protect myself and the team. Kyle looked sick. The authentication project she's leading, that was your design? Yes. Here's my original proposal with timestamps. They exchanged looks. Monica pulled out her phone. Jade, need you in conference room 3. Now. She arrived 15 minutes later, laptop in hand, ready for her presentation. Saw me and her smile flickered. What's this about? I have the all hands in an hour. Monica slid a printout across the table. My bug documentation. Can you explain this security flaw in the framework you're presenting? Jade scanned it, her face cycling through confusion, recognition, then panic. This must be an edge case. We can patch it. You didn't know it existed, Monica stated. Not a question. It's a complex system. No code is perfect on first iteration. But it's not your first iteration, is it? Monica placed another paper down. The GitHub timestamps. This is Mark's code. The room went silent. Jade straightened in her chair, and I saw the exact moment she decided to double down. We're a team. We collaborate. Mark shared his ideas, I improved and integrated them. That's how development works. Is that why you contacted his former colleague asking for proprietary code? Raj asked. Her mouth opened, closed. I was doing research. Behind his back, I was being thorough. Monica leaned forward. Jade, I need you to be very clear. What portions of the security framework are your original work? Long pause. I organized the components and created the presentation structure. The code itself? Silence. The architecture? More silence. Monica nodded. HR will be in touch. The presentation is canceled. Please collect your things. Jade's face went white. You're firing me? For collaborating? For systematically taking credit for others' work and presenting flawed code you didn't understand as your own. Monica said, to a financial services client, do you understand the liability? Reality hit Jade like a truck. This wasn't about hurt feelings or office politics. She'd almost implemented a security vulnerability in a financial client's system. That's career-ending, potentially lawsuit-worthy. She turned to me, tears forming. You set me up. You gave me bad code on purpose. I gave you exactly what you wanted, I said. Code you didn't write and couldn't verify. If you'd actually collaborated instead of stealing, you'd have caught the bug. She stood abruptly, knocking her chair back. This is insane. I've delivered more in 8 months than this entire team. You've delivered other people's work, Kyle finally spoke. I should have seen it sooner. You'll regret this, she hissed at me. I have connections. You'll never work in tech again. Monica stood too. Jade, you're done. Security will escort you out. As she was led away, she turned back one more time. No smirk now, just shock and rage. Final update. The aftermath was swift and thorough. HR audited every project Jade had touched. Found instances of plagiarism going back to her first week. 5 team members came forward with similar stories once they knew it was safe. Turns out, this wasn't her first rodeo. Monica's investigation revealed she'd left her last 2 companies under similar circumstances, but they'd kept it quiet to avoid lawsuits. She'd been job hopping before the pattern caught up, each time climbing higher by stealing better. Our team recovered quickly. Kyle apologized for not seeing the pattern sooner and instituted new policies about crediting contributions. The security project went forward with proper attribution and without any bugs. The promotion Jade had been angling for went to Connor. Quiet, humble Connor who'd been doing excellent work while Jade took credit. Poetic justice. But the real satisfaction came 3 weeks later. I got a LinkedIn notification. Jade had updated her profile, no longer senior developer at TechCorp. Now seeking new opportunities in technology leadership. Curiosity got me. I checked her activity. She'd been posting articles about toxic work cultures and the importance of psychological safety in tech. The comments were brutal. Apparently word had gotten out. Several people called out her pattern of behavior at previous companies. Then came the DM from Dimitri. "Yo, you see this?" Screenshot of a tech industry Slack channel. Someone had shared Jade's profile with a warning about her history of plagiarism and the security incident. Responses were not kind. "Known her since Company A, can confirm. She tried to recruit me to collaborate last month, now I know why. Almost hired her. Bullet dodged." In trying to build a reputation on others' work, she destroyed her actual reputation. The tech world is smaller than people think. Last week, I ran into her at a coffee shop. She was on her laptop, job hunting from the looks of it. She saw me, and for a moment I thought she'd make a scene. Instead, she just looked tired, defeated. "Still believe in those fairy tales?" she asked quietly. "More than ever," I said. She laughed bitterly. "Must be nice, living in a world where honesty wins." "I'm not living in a fairy tale, Jade. You are living in a house of cards." She went back to her laptop without another word. I got my coffee and left. Later, Connor told me she'd applied for a position at his friend's startup. They'd called him for a reference check. He told them the truth, all of it. She didn't get the job. See, Jade was wrong about loyalty and honesty being fairy tales. They're not magical concepts that guarantee success. They're practical tools for building sustainable careers and relationships. She thought she was being smart by taking shortcuts, by climbing on others' backs. But every stolen idea was a debt. Every fake achievement was a risk. Every bridge burned was a future opportunity lost. I didn't destroy her career. I just stopped her from destroying mine and my team's. The evidence I presented wasn't revenge. It was truth. And truth, as it turns out, is a lot more powerful than any fairy tale. The bug I embedded in the code never had to be fixed because the code was never implemented. But it served its purpose. It proved she didn't understand what she was stealing. She was so focused on taking credit that she never bothered to actually learn. That's the real irony. If Jade had spent half as much energy actually collaborating as she did stealing and scheming, she'd probably be a brilliant developer by now. Instead, she's unemployable in an industry that desperately needs talent. Our team is stronger now. We document better, communicate more clearly, and credit each other openly. Kyle jokes that Jade was the vaccine that inoculated us against future plagiarists. And me? I still believe in loyalty and honesty, not because I'm naive or living in a fairy tale, but because in the long run, they work. Jade learned that the hard way. Her nightmare wasn't getting caught. It was realizing that the real world she thought she understood has consequences too. And those consequences don't care how smart you think you are. Cute, but useful indeed.